In a world dominated by noise, performance, and a desperate need for validation, the real Sigma male has become increasingly rare and even easier to fake. You've seen the imitators, men throwing around deep quotes, dressing the part, and acting detached as if it were some badge of honor. But here's the truth. Being a Sigma isn't about image. It's about substance. Most people trying to play the part don't even realize how far off they are. The real Sigma male isn't performing. He isn't mysterious on purpose. He's just focused. He isn't antisocial. He's selectively social. He isn't trying to be liked. He's trying to stay aligned. While wannabes try to look impressive, real Sigas are busy doing the hard, often invisible work that builds unshakable confidence, clarity, and self-respect. This exploration isn't about cliches. It's about the subtle, overlooked traits that truly define a Sigma male, the kind that don't show up in selfies or status updates. These are the traits that make people stop and take notice, not because you demanded attention, but because you walked in owning yourself completely. If you ever wonder where you stand, or if you're just tired of the fake and hungry for something real, this is for you. 1. Freedom is oxygen. Real Sigas structure their lives around autonomy. They will walk away from a high-paying job, a lover, or an opportunity if it costs them their freedom. Wannabes talk big but are addicted to comfort. Let's break this down. Freedom isn't just a luxury for a Sigma. It's oxygen. It's not negotiable, not up for debate. If something threatens his independence, no matter how shiny it looks, he'll leave. That could be a six-figure job that demands his soul, a relationship with emotional chains, or a group that expects conformity. Sigmas don't stay where they feel trapped, not because they're reckless, but because they know the price of peace and refuse to pay with their freedom. Wannabes, on the other hand, love the idea of freedom. They say things like, "I don't need anyone," or "I do my own thing." But watch closely. They'll stay in soul-crushing situations because they fear discomfort more than they love their independence. They'll post about being lone wolves, but crumble without validation. The real Sigma doesn't announce his freedom. He lives it. He builds a life that allows him to breathe on his own terms, even if it means less money, being misunderstood, or starting over. He'd rather have true autonomy than sell his time, energy, or mind just to fit in. Ask yourself, what would you walk away from to truly breathe? 2. Aesthetic apathy. Sigmas often dress sharply or not at all. Either way, it's deliberate and for themselves. Wannabes copy trends to be seen as cool. Appearance reflects mindset. A real Sigma doesn't dress to impress. He dresses to reflect who he is, not who he wants to be seen as. Sometimes he walks into a room sharp, clean, and confident. Other times, he's in worn-out boots and a hoodie. It doesn't matter to him. His style, or lack of it, isn't about attention. It's about comfort, identity, and function. There's no costume, no trend chasing, no performance. If he dresses well, it's not to stand out. It's because he respects himself. If he dresses down, it's not laziness. It's because he has bigger things to think about than matching colors. Wannabes, however, use clothes as a mask. They follow trends not because they love them, but because they want to look like they belong. They copy influencers, movie characters, or online personalities, mistaking looking cool for being confident. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need designer labels or expensive watches. It shows up in how you carry yourself, not in what's on your feet. A Sigma style is just another way he stays in control. He chooses how he wants to be seen, if at all. Ask yourself, are you dressing for yourself or to impress people who don't even know you? 3. He's kind, not nice. There's a difference. Nice can be performative. Kind is genuine but has boundaries. Sigmas don't do polite self-betrayal just to be liked. This one cuts deep. If you've ever felt drained from always trying to be the nice guy. Being nice is often about performance. Smiling when uncomfortable, saying yes when you mean no, avoiding conflict even when something needs to be said. It's self-betrayal in a clean package. Society praises niceness because it keeps people agreeable, predictable, and quiet. Sigmas don't play that game. They're kind, but on their terms. Their kindness is rooted in respect, empathy, and strength. They'll help if you need it, support you if it's real, and speak truth even if it's uncomfortable. But they won't twist themselves into a people-pleasing shape just to avoid judgment. Wannabes often fake kindness to gain favor. They agree with everything, apologize for existing, and hope being nice enough will earn approval. But underneath, there's frustration because they're not being true to themselves. A Sigma would rather disappoint someone else than abandon himself. That quiet self-respect is what makes his presence feel solid. Ask yourself, are you being nice to be liked or kind because it's who you are? For he walks away before disrespect becomes visible. A Sigma male doesn't wait for disrespect to become blatant. He acts long before the line is crossed. Unlike most people who only respond after someone raises their voice, insult them, or blatantly violate a boundary, the Sigma senses subtle shifts in energy and behavior. He can pick up on the smallest cues, changes in tone, body language, or hidden entitlement. If he detects passive aggression, manipulation, or disrespect slowly surfacing, he doesn't react with anger or confrontation. He doesn't argue, beg for respect, or create drama. He simply leaves, quietly and with complete certainty. This is one of the sharpest traits that define a Sigma male. His ability to sense when something is off and exit before the situation escalates. On the other hand, those trying to emulate strength often do the opposite. Wannabes ignore the early warning signs because they crave approval, validation, or connection. They tell themselves it's not a big deal and let things slide until the damage is done. Eventually, they either explode or fall apart, wondering how they allowed the situation to spiral. A Sigma never reaches that breaking point. His boundaries may be invisible, but they are non-negotiable. Once you approach them or even suggest you might, he's already on his way out. So the real question is, are you waiting to be disrespected before you act, or are you self-aware enough to walk away early? 5. Intellectual omnivores, constantly feeding on knowledge without flaunting it. True Sigma males are intellectual omnivores. They constantly absorb knowledge, but they do so humbly and with purpose. They read deeply, engage in meaningful conversations, and learn from experiences not to impress others, but to enrich their lives. You won't see them quoting Nietzsche or name-dropping philosophers just to sound smart. They don't feel the need to prove their intelligence. Instead, they apply what they learn in real time, letting wisdom guide their actions rather than their image. Wannabes, on the other hand, often use intellectual references as performance. They cite famous thinkers and throw around complex ideas to seem deep or profound. But at surface level, a borrowed identity built on someone else's words, not their own lived insight. The difference is clear. Sigma males don't just know things, they embody them. They connect the dots, integrate wisdom, and move through the world with a quiet intelligence that doesn't need to be broadcast. So, ask yourself honestly, are you trying to sound deep, or are you truly living in depth? 6. Confidence anchored in capability, not affirmation. A Sigma male's confidence isn't borrowed. It's built. He doesn't rely on praise, applause, or external validation to feel secure in who he is. Instead, his self-assurance is grounded in real-world capability. He trusts himself because he's tested himself again and again. In silence, without an audience, he has failed, learned from those failures, and sharpened his skills. That's where his confidence comes from. Earned experience, not empty flattery. In contrast, wannabes seek constant approval to feel valuable. Their sense of worth is tied to how many likes they get, what titles they hold, or how many people are applauding them. But underneath the surface, that confidence is fragile because it's not rooted in anything solid. They haven't done the inner or outer work to build true competence. A Sigma, on the other hand, isn't pretending to be confident. He simply is, with or without an audience, with or without recognition. His strength doesn't waver when the applause stops, because his validation comes from within. So ask yourself, if no one ever complimented you again, would you still know your worth? 7. Authentic disconnection, not fake solitude. Sigma males don't isolate themselves for attention or image. They disconnect because most of what happening around them is noise, irrelevant, distracting, or simply draining. Their solitude isn't about appearing mysterious. It's about staying aligned and focused. When a Sigma pulls away, it's not a cry for validation. It's a deliberate move to think, recalibrate, and sharpen his edge. Wannabes, however, often retreat hoping someone will notice. They want their absence to feel significant, to provoke curiosity or concern. But that's not true solitude. That's emotional bait. Sigmas don't need anyone to chase them. They disappear for a reason, growth. While others are busy performing presence or absence, the Sigma is working, quietly building, refining, and evolving. And when he returns, he's not the same. He's ahead, mentally, emotionally, strategically, because he used the silence to grow, not to be seen. Ask yourself, are you stepping away to grow, or hoping someone chases you? 8. They observe 10x more than they speak. In social environments, Sigma males act more like quiet strategists and performers, while others scramble to impress or dominate the conversation. Sigmas are busy reading the room. To them, every social setting is a rich source of data, filled with subtle cues, hidden motives, and unspoken dynamics. Like intelligence agents, they pick up on things others miss. The fake laughs, the veiled power plays, the masks people wear. They don't speak to be heard, they speak with purpose. And because their words are rare and well-placed, they carry weight. In contrast, wannabes often mistake loudness for influence. They try to take up space through constant talking, thinking that dominating the conversation will earn respect. But they're so focused on being seen that they miss what's actually going on. A Sigma knows that real power often lies in quiet awareness. So ask yourself, are you trying to be seen, or are you truly seeing what's happening? 9. Invisibility in the algorithm. Real Sigmas aren't obsessed with online fame or social media visibility. You might not see them trending or going viral, but in their own domain, they're legends. They're not chasing likes, follows, or algorithm boosts. Instead, they're quietly mastering their craft, building long-term value, and earning deep respect from those who actually matter. Wannabes, on the other hand, live for attention. Their sense of worth is tangled up in views, retweets, and digital applause. They chase moments of relevance, constantly trying to stay in the spotlight. But Sigmas don't need the spotlight. They create impact in the shadows. They know that true legacy is built quietly, consistently, and without the need for constant validation. So ask yourself, are you chasing attention or building a legacy? 10. They avoid popularity. Sigma males aren't interested in popularity, not because they lack confidence, but because they understand what it costs. They know that the more people you try to please, the more you dilute your authenticity. Crowds come with noise, pressure, and conformity. A Sigma would rather walk alone in clarity than blend in for clout. They value integrity over applause and authenticity over acceptance. Wannabes, on the other hand, often bend to fit in. They shift their opinions, behavior, even their identity to match what's trending or what earns approval. But in the process, they lose themselves, trading truth for temporary recognition. A Sigma resists that trade. He stays rooted in who he is, even if it means standing apart from the crowd. The question is, are you compromising your authenticity just to be liked? Or are you standing true, even if it means standing alone? 11. They rarely explain themselves. Sigma males don't waste energy explaining themselves to people who aren't equipped to understand. It's not arrogance, it's efficiency. They know that most people operate from limited perspective, conditioned thinking, or surface-level awareness. So why over-explain a mindset that only a few can truly grasp? Wannabes often do the opposite. They overshare and over-explain, desperate to prove that they're deep, thoughtful, or wise. But in doing so, they reveal their need for validation. They want to be understood by everyone, even if those people aren't capable of understanding. Sigmas keep things encrypted. They speak in layers, and only those with the right mindset can decode the meaning. They trust that the right people will get it, and the rest don't need to. Ask yourself, do you feel the need to explain yourself to be seen, or do you trust that the right mind will understand without needing everything spelled out? Conclusion: subtle traits that separate real Sigmas from wannabes. At the heart of it, the true difference between real Sigmas and those merely imitating persona isn't found in style, speech, or swagger. It's rooted in what fuels them internally. It's not about image, but intention. While the world chases clout, real Sigmas choose clarity. Where others perform for attention, Sigmas prioritize substance. And while many seek validation to feel free, Sigmas embrace freedom by needing none. Their confidence doesn't scream, It resonates. Their silence says more than most people's shouting ever could. If something about this mindset hits home for you, not the aesthetic, but the truth beneath it, then understand this. You're not off track. You're just ahead of the noise. You see through the performance. And because of that, your path may feel quiet, but it's powerful. So keep going. Strip away what's performative. Refine what's real. The world doesn't need more voices trying to be loud. It needs more people grounded in depth, integrity, and quiet conviction. That's your lane. Walk it with purpose. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.